Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of the Vantage Point Podcast. Appreciate you for tuning in. My name is Anthony Manaya, and this is a show where I break down the quotes and the posts that I put up on social media. So, fam, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on the show if you're listening to the audio version of this. And also, fam, comment below, give me thumbs up on the YouTube video. It helps with the engagement of the podcast and it helps with the new people to see this, right? Helps with the algorithm and stuff. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode. The quote that we are breaking down today is, I forgive, but I never forget. I remember every hater, every supporter, every mentor, every piece of advice that has helped/failed me, every person who has doubted me. All of it has helped shape the man I am today. All love and all the hate, use it as fuel. The caption I put on this is, use it all as fuel. Prove others wrong by focusing on proving yourself right. Keep working on you. So, fam, I forgive, but I never forget. And what does this mean? Let me get a second real quick. Let me pull this up. I forgive, but I never forget. In the early stages of me coming up in the game and of my career, or me doing what I'm doing back in 2010, 2011, me figuring myself out. And by the way, the sun is coming down, so you're going to see me getting darker and darker and darker, right? Because I love to use the natural lighting for these videos. So in the beginning, you get so enthusiastic, right? When you're first starting off on discovering something new or making a decision to change your life, right? For so many people, you can remember the first time you've been introduced to life-changing information, whether it's with me or you've listened to something online. You're like, man, that makes sense. And then you dig a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Then you start to see that your circle, right? Your circle starts to question you a little bit. Why? Because family, when your priorities change, so do your relationships. So when you're struggling with yourself and then there's people around you who are struggling as well, and you are in a current position, the moment that you start bettering yourself, the moment you start doing something different, right? The first thing to do is you're going to question your current position and the people around you. You're going to question the conversations you're having. When you start changing your priorities, you start changing your mentality, you start changing what you care about, what you find important, the people around you start to change. The environment starts to disown you a little bit, starts to poke at you a little bit because you look like you're doing something. What is up, right? I want you in this environment. And if I want you in this environment and you start to change your priorities, now you are looking for ways to get out of this environment. And now, again, misery loves company, right? It's like crabs in a bucket. If you ever look at crabs in a bucket, the lid is off for a reason, right? Because the crabs can't jump off because the ones below it are holding them down. And it's very interesting how that happens in real life, in life with human beings. Not real life, crabs are real life, but real with human beings. It's interesting how that happens, right? How you start to change your ways a little bit. You start to wanting to better yourself, but the people around you are like, keeping you down, want to discourage you a little bit. It's part of the game. It's part of the journey, right? Never take it personal. I know some of you do take it personal. I know a lot of people who take it personal. Never take it personal. People are revealing how they feel about themselves. So when I say I forgive everybody in those times that I needed it most, where they've said certain things that I've used as fuel. In my mind, I've remembered these faces and I said, I'm going to prove them wrong by proving myself right. And I used it as inspiration rather than getting discouraged by it. I said, I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do. I know who I'm listening to or which direction I want to go. And I'm just going to go after it, right? Proving and making it work, right? This doesn't work if you don't take action, if you don't go all in. This doesn't work if you're like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then you're just like not taking action, not taking risks, not making sacrifices, right? So I say this because for me, I personally remember every hater. I remember every single person because it stung, right? Me building my businesses in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013 ish. I remember the words that people say, oh, he's wanting to do this, oh, he's wanting to do that. And it would discourage me. A lot of it was family, a lot of it was close friends. I would take it in a way of, I would take it to the heart, right? I would take it personal, but in a way as fuel. But also, this is not just for the haters, it's also for the mentors, the advice, right? That has helped me. All of it, the supporters early in the beginning. There's people watching this video that saw me since day one, watching this video, and they're like, man, I'm rocking with you forever because I saw you from the very beginning. That's love, right? I remember every supporter, every person who's just like, yo, listen, let's go, let's make it happen. Every piece of advice, don't do this, which has helped me. And the ones that even failed me, when someone said do this and it didn't work, and then I lost respect or I lost trust for the person giving the advice, right? Because it's like, okay, what do? I made this decision, it did not work out for me. What's the adjustment plan? What do I do in this area, right? Instead of saying I don't know, it's like leading me in circles, right? Because if I were to know, then I'm out of that environment. So it's something interesting, fam, that goes on here. How many people are playing games with your attention, your time? How many people are playing games with your life? And this is something that's very subtle, right? It's like, okay, I want control of you because I don't want to be alone. And because I don't want to be alone, I think I have to play these games, these mind games. I got to make these moves. I got to manipulate in some weird way to keep you around in my circle or to keep you close to me. Because if you were to see the truth, then you'll get out of this circle, then you'll get out of this situation. This is what's happening around you. You may be doing this with someone around you where you're like, I really don't like them, or I really don't. They don't really provide value to me, but I keep them around because out of the fear of being lonely or being alone. This is what people are doing. So for me, I remember every hater. I remember every mentor. I show so much love and respect to those who raised me right, to those who showed me a piece of advice. I always go back and say, yes, I got it from this. All the books I've read, all the people I've learned from. There is no Anthony Minaya without the advice that was given to me. And I continue to learn every single day and say, yeah, I stand on the shoulders of giants, right? I stand on the shoulders of so many books, so much money I've invested in mentors, and I've gotten closer and closer and closer and closer to the asset, not away from the asset, closer to the asset, because I wanted to be like this. Whatever was an asset to me, if it was an event, if it was people, if it was a book, I dove into it more and more and more and studied it and learned it. So, family, for you, I want you to know, never forget. Forgive, but never forget. Because this advice that is given to you now, these moves that you are making today, you will go back and you will remember it. You will remember the times that the people around you have doubted you. You will remember the times that the people around you have said you're not good enough. You will remember the times that people say, don't do this. And I guarantee the moment you start to succeed and bet on yourself is the moment that those same people, either one, they won't be around to even see you win, or two, they become fans and say, I always knew it, but fam, trust me, document it all. Use it as fuel. Don't retaliate back through verbal stuff. Oh, watch, you're gonna see. No. You hear it and say, okay, cool. Shake your head. Cool. Let's go after it. Let's go make it happen. Forgive, right? Because people are just projecting how they feel about themselves. So, when you start making things happen, you start getting more clear in your mind, you start feeling better about yourself, you start becoming more focused, you start making more money, you start changing your body, you start doing those things. Those people are going to either become fans or they're not even going to be around to see you win. So don't take anything personal. And I'm telling you this because so many people are going through this. I know you're going through this. This is why so many people are afraid to make an adjustment or to make any moves in their life. Why is that? Why are people afraid to make any moves? Because if they do that, then the people around may say something. If they do that, then they may take, it's kind of like, it's like a table, right? Table has these four pillars. Let's call it pillars, right? There's this table, you got the four legs. right? You take away one of the legs, the table's going to be handicapped now. It's going to go down a little bit, right? You take out any of the other legs, the table's falling down. It's going lopsided. So when you're one of those legs and you're one of those pillars and you have taken on responsibility of a household, of a job, over an environment or something, you're part of a family, you're part of a community of people, it's very difficult for you to step out of that when you play an important role within that group, right? It's very difficult to get out of that, because once you do that, many people around you are going to say, what the heck, right? You're going to offend, you're going to hurt a lot of people just by your moves alone. But family, I'm telling you something, right? Most people don't want you to do what's best for you. And the moment that you start doing what's best for you, everything changes in your life. The moment that you start doing what's best for your body and mind, the moment you start betting on yourself, showing up for yourself, is the moment that you start changing your priorities. And when your priorities change, so do your relationships. And that's when everything I'm saying here is going to matter. That's when you're like, okay, this environment I'm stepping out of, these friends don't really like me no more, or don't really see me as the same because the priorities is changing, right? So now I have to change my ways and create something new. Every advice matters. Everything you read matters. Everything you listen to matters, right? Documenting the journey matters. Remembering every hater, right? Every piece of advice, remembering all these things, because in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, in the next 10 years, you're going to look back and say, man, that inspired me. Man, that gave me fuel. Man, when I removed myself out of this environment, I made those tough decisions. I did what I had to do to reposition my life. And there was the supporters here, there was the haters here. And then when you actually win, you go back into that circle and you provide value in a different way, which is the most beautiful thing of them all. See, for me, I had to leave. I had to remove myself from certain environments, from certain family members, from certain friends, right? I had to recreate myself. Now I go back into those environments and provide value in a totally different way. And now I'm able to give better advice. Now I'm able to lead in a real way. Now I'm able to provide some type of value to them, whether they know it or not, right? And it's not in the form of giving money. It's a form of energy, experience, education, right? Support, emotional support, you know? And if I were to see them in a different way, if I were to see them in a way of like, oh, this person, if I don't forgive, right? If I don't forgive and say, I understand at that moment you really was protecting yourself in some way and projecting yourself onto others, then I wouldn't be able to go back and help, or I wouldn't be able to provide value to them today, right? Because I'll have this grudge and this thing, and it's like, right? So, fam, to end it off, all of it has helped shape me into the man I am today, and all of it is helping shape you into the person you want to be. So embrace it all, right? Embrace it all. Never forget it all. Never forget. Use it as fuel to get get you to where you want to go, and then you will look back and be like, man, that really changed my life. So with that being said, fam, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'll catch you guys next time. Much love, fam. Peace.